Hi everyone, Kiss My Mic here. So I wanted to share with you all the five gardening mistakes that I made in the past. I've been gardening since 2017, so it's been a couple of years, and I'm still not an expert, but I can say that I have learned so much, and so I try to incorporate each learning. Each time I start gardening again. So yeah, just let me just talk about it. All right. So the first one, the first mistake that I've ever done in the past when I planted um, my vegetables. So I loved planting vegetables. Definitely is I did not watch out for pests or diseases. The first few times I planted like tomatoes and peppers. That was back in 2017, 2018. I remember the very first time, 2017. I didn't really watch out for pests or diseases. I just let them exist and thinking that it will still grow or whatever. So those green caterpillars. I made a mistake because I thought they were cute. They were cute to look at. Like, you know what I'm talking about, this green caterpillars. So I started seeing them in my tomato plant, and then I got excited because I thought, oh my gosh, caterpillars, they're gonna turn into butterflies, right? And they're gonna be pollinators. So I thought they were fine. So I let them exist, let them roam around my plants, and then guess what? They started eating my plants, and then in the end, they ate the whole thing. Those caterpillars ate my tomato plants, and so they didn't survive. So there are other kind of pests as well. Each plant has kind of different pests that are kind of prone to it. Just kind of watch out for those and kind of read about it. So whatever you're planting, read about it. Not all the insects are good. Um, there are some good ones, right? Like the pollinators. So that's my first one, and also the diseases as well. I thought they were just normal. I didn't pay attention to them. Like for tomato plants, with my plants, my tomatoes ended up rotting. So, and later on, I found out that the disease is called blossom end rot. So, when the tomatoes turn black and it becomes, not edible. So that's one. And also, I had my tomatoes. Also, the leaves are turning yellow or leaves turning brown. Basically, you can tell it's not healthy, right? And then when I started researching, I found out what those diseases are and how to control them. Usually it's because either you have watering issues, it's not regular, it's not getting enough water, it's not getting enough nutrients. Plants need nutrients too. Like each plant has its own needs. Sometimes it's because of calcium deficiency. Like, it's interesting. So then there are different remedies to kind of take care of those plants, like tomatoes, for instance. So that was my first mistake that I made in the past, is to basically did not watch for pests and diseases. I'm gonna move a little bit over here. All right. So second mistake, gardening mistake that I made in the past. Number two, oh my gosh, this should be classified under like dumb things. Like it's really like a dumb mistake. And this happened during my first year of planting, 2017. And that year I was just so excited to do it. Um so I just kind of went for it without really doing a lot of research. I bought some transplants from like Home Depot, and then got me a 4x4, those plasticky garden bed that I don't recommend using at all because they just fall apart. And then I got me some dirt. I didn't even know about fertilizers, like how to use them or whatever. So I got me some seeds and I put them in like red cups. I've grown them indoors, and then I transplanted them, outside into the garden bed. And then after a while, few days, they started sprouting. So the mistake that I made was, well, that I also want to share with you, is like, don't accidentally grow weed. And I don't mean the illegal kind or the cannabis or whatever. I'm talking about just any unwanted plant, like the weed plant, that keeps growing in your garden, whether it's grass or whatever. Guess what? I thought that one plant that was growing in my very first garden bed was an actual plant, one of the plants that I planted. So I let it grow. As you can see in the picture, it kept growing. Um, and then only to find out that it was a weed. It was a freaking weed. It's like it's not a real plant or whatever. It's not the one that I planted anyway, and it grew up to like 6 feet tall. You know, don't accidentally grow weed in know what your plant looks like. When they grow. So that's a dumb mistake. Like I'm so embarrassed to even say it, but it happened. Because you're just starting out, and then you learn. That's how you learn. Okay, so third mistake that I made in the past, it had to do with how you're maintaining your plants, and that is that I did not prune the plants enough. So just to show some pictures and the examples, they just started to grow out of control and they're all over the place, and it makes it hard to really take care of them. First of all, it looks like a mess. It became like a giant mess, so it wasn't pleasant to look at. Second, for the plant, you kind of need to sort of guide it, right? Like, for you don't want it to grow all over the place. It's like, it's like a human being, needs to have a haircut, right? So it's kind of like that. Otherwise, or like fingernails cut. So that's kind of the same thing. Like with tomatoes, for instance, you have to guide it how it can grow. You don't want it to be out of control. So prune, prune, prune. That's important. There are good ways. There are right ways to do it. What to avoid, and I can show you, in another video, kind of what the specifics are for each plant, like how do you prune a tomato versus, like, peppers and stuff like that. So that's a third mistake that I have made in the past, is not pruning enough, the leaves. So there you go. All right. Fourth lesson or mistake that I made in the past, is planting too early in the season. So what happened was, this was also one of I guess it was my second year doing it. So I have this little outside area where I thought it was perfect for my herbs, as you can see in the picture. So I got some transplants. I got some cilantro, parsley, but I planted them too early. So I did not wait until after frost. I remember this time I planted these plants, in early April. I just got too excited about it. And guess what? In a matter of days, we had frost. And so the frost ended up killing my herbs. And so I had to redo everything, like, so basically, kind of watch out for that and take a look at the schedule, take a look at the weather, find out the specifics in your location, kind of like what the temperatures are. But if you live in a place where the weather doesn't go down below 40 degrees or something like that, or even 50, if you're in that place, I mean, good for you. You can plant. You don't have to go through this schedule. But I'm in the eastern side of the United States, East Coast. um I think, what do you call that, the zone. I'm like in zone, I believe 6 or 7 or something like that. I have to check the specifics. But we have, planting season. There are things you can plant indoors. You can keep them indoors. There are seedlings that you can start planting even before frost, and then by the time it's after frost, then you can transplant them outside. But if you're gonna really kind of keep them outside, make sure you check the weather, the schedule. So that was mistake number 4 for me, was really planting too early in the season. So, like, not looking into the right time. Okay, the fifth mistake that I made in the past, is not building the right trellis or the right support for the plants. So you can see behind me, there's like a tomato cage. I also have that other, trellis over there. And just, I would say in terms of building the right trellis, look for a quality. Like I had something in the past that I used like bamboo sticks, um, and they just kept falling apart. They're very flimsy. So make sure that you use the right material, and then anticipate also kind of the need, like is this the type of plant that kind of grows really tall? Is it like a vine type, like a cucumber, or like like the like green beans? Is your trellis gonna be tall enough? um like what ended up happening for me was like I first kind of put some trellis in there, and then the plants that I have, like the cucumbers and the green beans, they started growing out of control, and then I ended up kind of finding out whatever here. Like I found like a chicken wire, like a piece of the chicken wire, and it just looked so ugly, and it's not the right way. So I think it would be really nice if you can design it in the beginning, anticipate kind of the needs, and learn about kind of how much they grow, and then use the right material, use the right quality. So I think those are the five things that I've learned. I'm sure there's a lot more that I can share. Oh, there is a little bit of a bonus. Oh my gosh, 1 year, I don't know how other gardeners kind of deal with this, but I don't like snakes. I really don't. um there was one particular year that we had a problem with it, and it's because the way I designed it, it was a greenhouse situation. It's similar to what I have now. It's a 10 by 10, but we put like like the space kind of be next to the end of the greenhouse, right there between the end of the garden bed. We in the last time I put like hay in there. I put like mulch around it. I mulched the whole area, and little did I know that those things attracted the snakes, because they wanted a cool place where they can lay eggs and whatever. And you know what, that particular year we had a lot of snakes, and I don't even want to say I don't like it. And then at the end of the season, as I was cleaning the area, the greenhouse, guess what I found when I dig, kind of remove all the hay and everything? I found the eggs of the snakes that are already hatched. So it became like a breeding ground for them, and I was like, oh my gosh! And one of them got inside our garage, and we had the whole thing. We had to deal with it. It was a black snake, which they say is not really dangerous or whatever, not poisonous, but still I don't like them. I don't like them. I know that some people believe that they are important because they kill like the rats and all the other pests out there, but please, I don't want them in my garden. They can stay outside. So those are the six things now that I've learned in terms of gardening mistakes. And I think that's part of the it's an ongoing process. I'm sure there's a lot more things that I'm not doing right, but for some of the basics, I think I was able to learn, and I was able to apply some of them. So those are some of the things that I've learned. I just want to share those with you all. And yeah, I hope you find this video helpful and useful. Just looking back, I'm just so happy about everything, the whole journey. It's been fun. It's been really fun looking at the old pictures too. How I was able to grow those plants and whatever those fruits, the fruits of the labor. Like the vegetables, and I've tried many different things. So if you like this video, please like it, because it's good for the algorithm. YouTube likes it, and also feel free to share it to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye.